Flosstube and happy holidays. It's Brittany at Ingleside Imaginarium, and I'm here back at the end of the year to finally catch up with you guys. It's been a long while. I've had a busy couple of months in New York City, but as you can tell now, if you're a long-time viewer, this is not my New York apartment. I'm actually home for the holidays in Nashville, my parents' house, and I had a great Christmas. Got to be with my parents, and then my brother and his wife came and spent the holidays with us, so that was nice. Part of the reason also that I'm here in Nashville is that I'm getting ready to go and do another production. This time it's going to be a production of Newsies. It's at the same theater that I did Freaky Friday at last year, so what's nice is that I'm here to get my mom's car. I'm going to take that up with me, and what's also really lovely is that my cats can stay with my grandma again. So, as you saw Danny, I'm lucky that they get to be with me. Rhaegar is also here, even though he was not in the video yet. And that's only a yet in case he wants to be here. I think he's downstairs sleeping right now, so I won't bug him. It's been such a... Oh, hey Danny. It's been such a long time since we got to chat that I'm not entirely sure what you've seen and what you haven't seen. I haven't done all that much stitching. I got a big project done that I will tell you about when the time comes. But because it's been such a long while, I think that I'm just going to do a good old-fashioned WIP Parade / end-of-year review. I didn't keep as great records this year as I did in the past few years on what I finished and what I didn't finish and what I started and, you know, all of that stuff. So it's going to be kind of a cobbled together WIP Parade end of year update, as I said. And I know I love WIP Parades, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this as well. It's been a little while since we got to see all my projects together in one video, and there are a few that were finished, as well as a few that were started this year. I do want to make one quick announcement for those of you that follow me for the Ingleside Imaginarium bit, which that is my cross-stitch design company. I sadly had to make the decision to postpone / cancel next year's mystery stitch along. I just didn't have time to do it this year. I was getting ready to move. I was in rehearsals / performing a kids show in New York City. And then I had my normal work on top of that and a very important cross-stitch project that I really felt that I wanted to finish for a good friend of mine. So I just didn't have time to finish designing it, 1, 2, to start stitching it, because as I've said before, I am my own model stitcher. And so it just didn't happen. I have some options running around in my head about what I will do. As you know, I might do a shorter sale next year, maybe a holiday themed one, Halloween or Christmas or something. But as of now, I do not have a stitch along starting in January. I was very sad to have to make that decision, but I got a lot of great response and a lot of support from those of you who stitch my designs and follow my Facebook page. So I appreciate everyone's support, and also it was very exciting to wrap up the Guardians of Notre Dame as well. And I'll show you the finished piece, although you've probably already seen it at this point on some other videos. But don't sit up there, because that is all my freshly ironed projects. You can sit there, that's fine. All of my projects are up here, so I was like, you better not sit there. Doesn't she look good in this house? I was telling my mom, I said, my cats just go with your house so well. Danny, are you wondering who I'm talking to? She loves it here. Anyway, for those of you who are getting impatient with the idle chatter, I will get started. So the way I'm going to do this WIP Parade is in chronological order. There are days gone by where I could tell you exactly which date I started these, and I do have a semi-record of that somewhere else, but I'm not going to go into all that. I'll try and go into detail as far as, of course, the pattern and the any changes I've made or the fabric, different things like that. But otherwise, it's just going to be a simple, this is the project, this is the designer, and etc., etc. Okay, so let's get started. So the oldest piece and the first piece I'm going to show you today is my Mirabilia Emerald Mermaid. This piece I started as part of Miss Milky Bar Kids. She did a huge sale where everyone was supposed to start Mirabilia, and this is my one and only Mirabilia that I've started stitching. Still not finished. That was all the way back in 2015. January 1st, 2015, I believe I started it. If you do not know what Emerald Mermaid looks like, this is her. She's a beautiful emerald colored mermaid with red hair. That's why I picked her. Because I love green and she has red hair. So this is where I'm at so far. I believe this has not changed since you would have last seen her. She's very close to being finished. I almost have all her stitching completed, and then it's just metallics and beads. I have left to stitch a chunk of this greenery down here. I think a couple of stitches up here. And then a little bit of back stitch around her skin and in that greenery, and then it's just beads and metallics. So she's very close. I've made it a spoken goal every year to finish her. It is yet to happen, so we'll see if it happens this year. I don't know. But that's the first WIP, Mirabilia's Emerald Mermaid. The second WIP I have to show you is a free pattern. It's available on spritestitch.com. It is the Epic Generation 1 Epic Pokemon cross stitch. It includes all of the Pokemon in it that you can find in the first generation of games. And I believe it was created by a user named Servotron. Here's a picture of what it looks like finished. This is where I'm at. I haven't touched this one in a very long time. You can see I just almost have the first row finished, and this is the 3 starter Pokemon and their evolutions. I'm working on Blastoise right now. This is a very fun, very colorful design, but a lot of these older WIPs, I tend to neglect them because I'm focusing on, you know, designs that I've stitched, or you know, that I'm stitching my own designs, or if there's a project that I'm making as a gift for somebody, that kind of gets bumped up the priority level. The third piece is a piece that, oh, also, by the way, this one is stitched on Aida, 18 count Aida, those big rolls that you can get at Michael's. And I started this for Stitch Mania of 2015. So the very first Stitch Mania. Still working on it, but you know, at least this is a giant piece, so I don't feel so bad. This next piece is another one that I started for Stitch Mania in 2015. If you've not seen this piece before, it's particularly special because my mother actually started stitching this before I was born. It is from this pamphlet. It's by Country Cross Stitch. It's called Barnyard Quilts, and I'm stitching that top design there. It's called Ducks and Quilts. So we've got a Lone Star quilt and a log cabin quilt that these ducks are marching across. And as I said, I started that in Stitch Mania 2015. Almost 4 years later, this is where it's at. I don't mind this progress. It's a fun one to get to pull out and stitch on, you know, once every year. It's stitched on a 14 count fiddler's cloth, I believe, Aida. And as far as what my mother stitched, she stitched this edge of the border on the quilt as well as this corner of the star, I think the first 3 colors. And then I picked it from there, and I'm going to finish this and give it to her. Be my goal. Do you think that's a good idea? Mm-hmm. She does. So that's Ducks and Quilts, Barnyard Quilts, whatever you'd like to call it. I'll pull it out again for Stitch Mania this year and hopefully make a little more progress on it. There's one more duck to be stitched. The lead duck could be stitched, or maybe I'll get started on that other quilt. But I think it's a sweet design, even sweeter because my mother started stitching it. And it'll be a piece that I can think of her when I stitch on it, especially when it's hanging up somewhere. This next piece is another piece from Stitch Mania 2015. It is a Dimensions Gold Collection Petite called Napping Kitten. That's what it looks like. It's pretty cute. Nowhere near finishing it. Again, almost 4 years later. This is Napping Kitten, where I'm at now. You can start, you can see there's a cat in there. It looks like I'm working on the lighter brown color, and I'm nearly done with the lighter brown color. Again, this one comes out about once a year for Stitch Mania. I need to add the lighter brown down here and finish a couple of half stitches that I've started up here, and then I'll be able to start a new color. So maybe that will be my goal this year for Stitch Mania. So yes, Napping Kitten. Next one is another Dimensions kit and another cat. This one is called Warm and Fuzzy Kitten. This one has given me a heck of a lot of trouble for those of you longtime viewers. You know what I'm talking about. This is what it's going to look like in the end. My sister gave this kit to me. That's part of the reason why I've not just thrown it away yet. It's stitched on black Ada, and that's been a little tricky, I think. And that's caused, oh my gosh, this is cat hair all over it, one. But two, it's caused the Q-snap, the clamps to leave white marks all over it. So some of that you see is hair, but other parts of it is the marks from the Q-snap. Anyhow, this is where I'm at. You can see here where I had this head partially stitched and had to rip it all out because I found an error in my counting. So that's another reason why this project has been annoying, is because I've had to take out a substantial amount and restitch it. So it feels like I've made very little progress. You can kind of start seeing where the cat will be though. There's his little paws. This is his head. It should be cute when it's done. I think it would be a really adorable cushion, but who knows when that will be. Not me. Next is another Stitch Mania 2015 start. It is a kit by Design Works. It's called Be Joyful. It's this beautiful blue bird with flowers. All of these projects are from about the first year I was really cross-stitching. So I was doing a lot of kits. And there's a series of 3 birds that all have a bee adjective kind of theme to it. Well, be joyful, have faith, and be hopeful. And I had stitched be hopeful, so at this point I needed to stitch be joyful and have faith. And you'll see both of those here. For Stitch Mania 2015, because that was, before I knew that you could go online and order and kit up your own projects. But yes, so be joyful. This is what it looks like. This is where I'm at. I've got all of the birds stitched and I've just gotten started on the flowers. You can see here the first one that I've started. It's a cute kit. It's not, it's going to have a lot of backstitch, and those flowers are pretty busy. It's not quite so much my style yet, but I hate to give up on projects. So for me, it's still on the list. I think it also falls victim to just the fact that I'm focusing more on my own designs lately than these older projects that I started. This is another Stitch Mania piece. This is a Dimensions kit called Ebony and Ivory. I really like this one because it combines cats and music. What's not to love? This is This project has not given me too much trouble, although I have had some frogging on it, I believe. It comes out about once a year, maybe twice a year, and you can see I've gotten a pretty darn good start on that white cat. It kind of looks like a ghost cat right now, but I like it. It's just done on the Ada that comes from the kit. I'm not doing a great job of talking to you about fabric. But all of these last ones have come on, I'm stitching them on the Ada that came with the kit materials, so nothing too special. But yes, that is Ebony and Ivory. As I promised, here is a companion piece to Be Joyful. This is Have Faith. It's another one of these heartfelt design work kits. This is another Stitch Mania piece. Oh, Danny, no, you can't sit there. You guys, I said this would happen. She's going to be so mad I'm going to move her. Sorry, baby. Come here. I know, but you can. Why don't you come over here? Come here. Oh, come here. Why don't you? Oh, no. She's mad. No, you can't sit here. No! Oh, now she's going to attack my hand. No, you can't. Danny. Oh gosh. There you go. Now you can sit there. Come here. Here. Oh, of course. Here. Stay there. Oh, and look who's joined us. It's a Rhaegar. Oh, you guys, this is a zoo. Sorry. Okay. You can't sit there either, Rhaegar. You're gonna need to sit somewhere else, little buddy. Why don't you come up there? Perfect. You can sit down there. Why don't you sit right here? Good boy. Okay, I think we're all situated now. Oh, I know you guys like the cats, so I'll probably keep that in there. As I was saying, this is where I'm at on Have Faith. Another Stitch Mania piece. It comes out about once a year. I've nearly got the bird done. Again, it's not really my style anymore, but I don't like giving it projects, so it'll continue to come out. All right, so the next piece is part of a series. Well, it is going to be the whole series, but I have the first 3 pieces done. It is the Silver Creek Samplers Sing a Sampler series. This is the first half. It goes through the whole Do Re Mi song from The Sound of Music. So that's the first 2 pieces. Here are the second 2 pieces. I've done the first 3. So this is the one I'll be doing next. I do have to give a shout out on this piece. I have to say hello and thank you to D Stitcher. I purchased these patterns and was lamenting the fact that I didn't have the fabric to do it. And she had just finished hers. And so she sent me the other half of her fabric that she had to stitch this, as well as the leftover specialty threads. So I wouldn't have been able to start this project without Dee. And I wanted to also say to her, if she's watching, I miss seeing your videos. I know that you are much, much busier now. And for good reason, exciting reasons, kind of. So I will be happy for you for that reason, but also just say that I miss seeing you around Flosstube. I think she gets out a video once a month, which is actually much better than what I do, but anyway, this is where I'm at on this project. As I said, I have the first 3, well, almost the first 3 patterns done. I'm going to leave the script at the bottom until last. So I have doe, a deer, a female deer, a ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, and that's as far as I've gotten so far. This is a really lovely piece, and stitches up so quickly. If only I would just work on it. I have a feeling I could get it done. This next piece is a piece that I must give a shout out for again and say thank you, thank you. This is the Disney Dreams Collection, Tinkerbell and Peter Pan Fly to Neverland. I received this as a gift from a fellow stitcher. Helga gave this to me. I'm gonna have to look up what she calls herself on Flosstube now. She's had a couple different names. I don't know if it has something to do with pineapples now. I'm gonna have to look it up. She's on Instagram. She's been around the Stitchy community for a while now. But she and her son EJ sent this to me because she had two. And I know that these are kind of a hot commodity right now, so I feel bad that I haven't made more progress on it. But it comes out, you know, again, I try and work on every piece about once a year if I can. At least pull it out once a year. And I did get a little bit of work done on this year. But yes, this is a kit. I'm using all the kit materials. And I will show you where I'm at right now. So this is how big it's going to be. I've only been working in the top corner here. The top left corner. And that's what I have done. So this is Sky here. There's a bunch of shapes of Peter Pan characters in the clouds. And this is the crocodile's tail here. This is part of a pirate ship. So this is going to be Neverland over here. This part that I haven't filled in is Skull Island. This is Peter himself right here. So you can kind of see things are happening. But yeah, considering how large this entire piece is, it's not much to look at right now. But you know, that's quite a bit of progress, or you know, at least quite a bit of work put into it. If you want to see something really impressive, you should go over to Miss Osa Crafty's channel and see her Winnie the Pooh. She's working on Winnie the Pooh right now. I don't think she's finished it. At least last I saw, she had not finished it. But if you want to see something really great, you should look at that because it's pretty impressive. And Rhaegar is cleaning himself on top of my whips. So we're gonna have to fix that. Excuse me. If you're gonna sit there, you can sit right here. Not on my whips. But, oh gosh, you guys. It's a zoo. Next whip. Let's keep it moving. I love this whip. You have seen it probably in the last video I made, or, you know, fairly recently. It's from this book, Carousel Horses and Cross Stitch, by Donna Cooler. I know it's by her design studio. I don't know if she did all of these or if it's just her studio, but the piece that I've started, I intend to do them all. This is the one I've started and I'm working on. It's called Haunted October Nights, and it is the Halloween carousel horse. I love it. So I was just working on this in October, and this is where I'm at. It is on a piece of 28 count even weave called Lazy River. It's a Jobelin. Here is where I'm at. Don't you just love this piece? There are so many fun little details to work on. Something I've just stitched this year are these little ghost faces in the corners. Check those guys out. So funny. There's a string here. I got this done this year. I got this done this year. These little, filled in those. So it's coming along. Every time I work on it, I add something new and it's exciting. I love it. The next piece is a piece that I don't think I've worked on this year, actually. It was a fan favorite for a while, but I just, again, I've been concentrating on other pieces, mostly my own pieces. And when I say that, they're all my pieces, but my own designed pieces. This is a design from this book by Jane Netley Mayhew, Cross Stitch Safari. And the story of this piece is one day I decided I wanted to stitch a leopard, and I was looking at leopard kits on 1-2-3 Stitch and didn't see something I liked, but Letitia, the crafty curator, had just posted, she just posted a video with a flip through of this book, and I saw this beautiful leopard in it. This is called Queen of Cats. Isn't she gorgeous? So majestic. I painted a piece of fabric for this. It is an even weave, and I just painted it with some paints, fabric paints that I had to try and make it look like a safari sky, you know, like a savannah sky, sunset. And this is where I'm at. I have this whole, this is a quarter of the design. This part is pretty empty. The two bottom ones are pretty full. But the last time I worked on this, which was probably in 2017, I was working, just getting started on that second page. So it's gonna be really neat when it's done, but it's gonna be a lot of work. These Jane Nitley Mayhew designs are just packed with all the colors and all the details, and especially this one with all the grasses and the spots and so many of the tan colors and the leopard's fur, and like, it's gonna be beautiful when it's done. It'll be a lot of work. This next piece is a digital piece, so I do not have a page to show you, but I'll insert a photo here. And it is one of Pinky the Pink's Art Nouveau princesses, charted from artwork by Hannah Alexander. And it is Art Nouveau Merida. And this is a sad, sad piece. But I was so excited about this to start it, and I've just not stitched on it at all. Hardly. It's on this 36 count fabric in Mellow by Picture This Plus. And this is the sad, sad progress I have on it. I think part of the reason why I haven't worked on this is I started thinking for some reason I was going to do the whole thing 1/1. And I believe that kind of got me in trouble, where when I picked it up again, I decided that's crazy, I'm not going to do that. And then had to finagle around and figure out where I was and where the actual stitches needed to go and all of that kind of stuff after having done it partially in 1/1. And it was just a lot of trouble to get started again, and I think I kind of lost my passion for it. So I believe all of those pieces would have been started in 2015, because at this point in my WIP pile we are getting into Stitch Mania 2016, the second Stitch Mania. This is a project that is an Ingleside Imaginarium original design. It's called Raptors Love, a pun on Raptors Love. And it is these two feathery raptor lovebirds here. And I started this in Stitch Mania 2016. Pulling it out today, I realized that I made a really silly mistake, but it's okay, because this is more important. The other project that was on this fabric is more important than this one. This one I'm stitching it up for myself, / as a model stitch for my shop. But look at what I did. I'm thinking I'm gonna have about an inch of fabric on this side. Oh well. So this is Raptors Love. I've gotten this much done on the one raptor. Again, this comes out about once a year during Stitch Mania. And I like it. I wouldn't have designed it if I didn't like it. So I like it, and it'll be nice to have finished one day. I think it's cute. That's done on an oatmeal or natural MCG textiles, I believe. Even weave. This next one is another Stitch Mania 2016 project. Here's another one that if you've been watching for a while, you'll know that this project has given me so much trouble. And I've realized too that I've stitched it in 2 different color flosses. So there may come a day when I do finish it and I have to go in and pick out some of it and restitch it, because when it's in the sun, you can tell. Some of it is in B5200 and some of it is in Blanc. Anyway, this is my C3PO Sugar Skull Stitch, a design I bought off of Etsy from the designer Stitch Line. Here's a picture of what it will look like finished. And here is my stitch of it. I'm just about halfway done. Every time I show this to you, I feel like it's just about halfway done, and that's because I stitch on it and make progress, and then I have to unpick it and fix it. I don't know if it's the fabric. I don't know if it's just like when I worked on this, I've not like had full concentration or what. I don't know, but this is the project. This is a Picture This Plus fabric. It's in 32 count linen, I believe in dusk. I love this. I wanted it to look like space. My plan is to stitch all 3 of the designs offered. There's a Darth Vader, a Stormtrooper, and a C3PO, and I'd like to do them all in B5200 on this fabric. And I don't know if there's some people out there who hate like mouth noises or something, but Rhaegar is grooming himself very loudly here, so I apologize if you can hear that. He's getting clean, you know? Can't fault him for that. This next piece is another Stitch Mania 2016 piece. It is an Ingleside Imaginarium original design called Give Me Some Sugar. And it's a sugar bowl. I had a series going on for a little bit that was food puns. Food puns and pet names. / like cute little love sayings. This is done on mushroom Lugana or even weave. And here's where I'm at. This again comes out for Stitch Mania about once every year. And you can see there I have the top of the sugar bowl, the handles, and the spoon tin. I like the colors. It should be cute as well. Again, I don't think I would stitch it if I didn't think it was cute. This next piece is another Stitch Mania 2016 piece. It is by Country Cottage Needleworks. It is, again, adorable. And I've actually gotten progress done on this outside of Stitch Mania because I was working on it, I think, back in September, October. This is what it will look like when it's finished. Cover up my face so you can look at the cute stitch instead. Isn't that cute? I'm doing this with all the called for threads on the called for fabric. It's a 30 count weeks dye work in Scuppernong. And here's where I'm at. I may have showed this to you before, but this year, I think for Stitch Mania, I finished stitching all the snowflakes, but since then I've stitched this top border and started the snowman. Pretty cute. I would love to give this to my grandma one day. She has this giant snowman collection, but I missed her birthday. It can be at any time of the year gift, I guess. This next project is not a Stitch Mania project. This is one that I started kind of on a whim. Every once in a while I get these like grand ideas that I'm gonna stitch something and I want to start it now. This is one of those things. This is a character from a game called Fallout, specifically Fallout 4. A character named Piper Wright. She's a companion character you can have in the game. I saw a piece of artwork by Crystal Graziano that I absolutely loved, and I call this WIP the Piper pinup WIP. But it's going to be semi-full coverage. The actual stitch design will be kind of full coverage style. I used Pick-to-Pat to convert that piece of artwork. With the artist's permission, I paid her to be able to stitch this. And this is where I'm at. I did work on this year because another stitcher, Bonnie, she had started a project similar and was not pleased with how the face turned out. And so I was really worried that I would put a lot of work into it and then would hate the face. But I think she's pretty cute, actually. I've messed up a little bit in there, but I think it's okay. I might end up putting some backstitch in her eyes too to kind of make them pop. But I like this. It's on an 18 count Aida that I painted myself to look kind of like folded and worn out paper. I wanted it to look like an old poster. So that is another WIP. This next one is a piece called Fleur de Montaigne. I don't speak French. Fleur de Montaigne, perhaps? No, it's Britannia ends like that as well. But it means flowers of the mountain, I believe. It is a Lena Lawson Needle Arts conversion of a piece of Art Nouveau artwork by Elizabeth Sonrel. Isn't she beautiful? I have two in this series of artwork. And this is the only one that I've started. But yes, I started it for Jessie Marie's birthday. I guess in 2000 and maybe last year. I don't know when I started this. Only because, yes, it was just last year. That was her first birthday sale was last year. This is all I've got done on it. It's on a 36 count smoke blue linen. And if you're curious, that is her sash right here. It'll be pretty when it's done. If it's done ever. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we're getting through this. This next piece is a Stitch Mania 2017 piece. So yes, this last piece is definitely started in 2017 because it was right before Stitch Mania. Jessie's birthday is in April. This is a piece, another Jane Netley Mayhew piece. It's from this book, Cats of the World in Cross Stitch, by Jane Netley Mayhew and Nikki Wheeler. She has a series of designs in here which are seasonal cats. I think they're all gorgeous, and I have plans to do all of them, but the one I'm working on right now is this one. It's Summer. It features an exotic short hair cat, a little cream tabby. So cute. This is where I'm at. This one's given me a little trouble too as far as frogging goes and counting. I like to do cross country if it's not like a full coverage design. This is on a 32 count linen in Pampas by, or Pampas, P-A-M-P-A-S by, Picture This Plus. So it's a green. It's looking very gray here, but it's a spring green color. I'm not sure how to make it the right color here, but it's green. It's not gray. It's a nice summery green. But yeah, that's gonna be really nice, and I can't wait to do the other ones as well when they happen. This is another Stitch Mania 2017 piece. It is a series of 4 designs. This one is called The Barn Owl Familiar by Pinky the Pink. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And this is what I have done. This is on a piece of murky linen, I believe in 32 count. And this is what I've gotten done on the Barn Owl. I'm hoping to do them all on this fabric. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then finish them in a way that I don't need a lot of border on it because I'm running out of space. They'd be really cute in little hoops, but I don't know if I left enough fabric for that. This piece is interesting because it uses those DMC satin threads. And everything people say about them is true. That's all I'll say. This next piece is another digital piece, and I do not remember the name of the store where I got the pattern, but I'll put that up here. I usually always have captions of the names and designers and where I've purchased them. It's just started raining really hard. If you're wondering why these two are so attentive, there's a window over here and it just started raining very hard. So I think they're both a little like, whoa. You might be able to hear it too, since there's no train going by. This is another piece of smoke blue linen. I'm calling this piece Winnie the Pooh Love because it's going to have a Winnie the Pooh quote on it. It was supposed to be for a wedding that I attended last year, but I was way over ambitious when I started this and definitely did not have enough time to do it. But you can see there's Piglet, who's looking awful cute. It's huge. I think it's going to take up like nearly all of this space, so it's very big. Again, it's cute, but I have not worked, I think once I realized I wasn't going to get that done for the wedding, I haven't touched it since then. Another design that I found on Etsy. This is the House Targaryen banner. I want to say it's by... I'm not going to guess because I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'll put it down here. This is a sister project. I like to call it a sister project to one that Jessie Marie has. She's doing the Stark banner on a piece of the same fabric. It's a 32 count linen in Valyrian steel by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And it was the first piece of fabric that I had purchased from her, and I love it. I like it a lot. I'm pleased. But this is what I have done on it. I'm just stitching it in a DMC. I believe that's 817. So Targaryen colors are red and black. And so it's going to be red on this Valyrian steel fabric. Which, if you're not a fan of the Game of Thrones show, this is from Game of Thrones. And Valyrian steel is a very special type of metal that the fanciest and best swords are made from. And the technique to make these swords has been lost to time, so no more can be created, and it's kind of a special thing to have one in the show and in the books. Not that you needed to know that, but it's just a little trivia for you. This next piece is adorable, and I need to pull it out again to work on it. But it is a soda stitch design. It's called Sewing Cats. I started this as part of a sal that Adele Katz started. I think that was her name, her full Flosstube name. I can't remember. I think it's Adele Cat Stitches. But she started a whole group for this, and I got decently far. I've almost got this whole shelf here done. I'll show you. I stitched this on an opalescent Ada that I got from Fabrics by LJ. It was a solo die, so it was just numbered. There was only one of them. It's an 18 count Ada, and you can see here I have, like I said, just about that middle row done. You can see that mine does not look like the original, and that's because I've changed the colors of the cats. They're all going to be different. They're all going to feature cats / pets of other floss tubers. So this is, I'm very proud of this actually. This is Buster and Dharma from Emily C. at Eclectic Possessions. Those are her kitties. So I'm very pleased with them. I think they turned out really cute. And I should pull that out again. I need to get to the top because that's where Danny and Rhaegar are going to come in. And it would be fun to do them. Okay. Speaking of Emily at Eclectic Possessions, you may know of her. Obviously, you may know of her from Flosstube, but where I was going with that is she created the Dark October stitching tag. and the Dark 13 tag. And I have a Halloween piece, my Halloween carousel horse, but it's not really dark. So last fall, when I got to go to the Austin Flosstube retreat and I got to meet her, I decided that I wanted to start a darker October stitching piece, and I picked this piece. It is called Halloween, and it is by Nimue, a French designer, and it is this really cool raven-winged creepy cat on a creepy jack-o'-lantern. He kind of reminds me of Rhaegar, because Rhaegar is kind of built that way with the long legs and the long tail, although his doesn't curl like that. And he doesn't have wings, of course. Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics was there, and I actually got to purchase a lot of fabric from her. She brought a whole bunch to sell, and I was able to purchase some and got to use it on this project. I started this while I was at the retreat. This fabric is a 40 count linen and whimsical winter. And here's where I'm at on Halloween. I did work on this a little bit in October this year. So you can see there I've got most of the cat's head and front half, a little bit of the wings, and started on its rear legs. I think it's gonna be really cool when it's done. It is a blue-gray, kind of a slate blue color. So you're getting very blue there, you're getting grayer. This is better probably. But I love this area, this kind of dark cloud here. This next piece I started kind of thinking earlier this year I wanted a quick finish somehow. It didn't happen. Although I think what I ended up doing is I finished the previous one and started the next one. This is a series of freebies by Brooks Books. It is for Advent animals. I intend to do them all, but I've only gotten 6 finished and I'm working on the 7th. I think I finished this beautiful girl this year. This is the Camel Cashmere is her name. I was like, I know her name. Cashmere Camel. She's so beautiful with her makeup and her nail polish. And then I've started, you can kind of see him there, Pierre Penguin, number 7. I've just gotten the white done. Again, I like to go color by color on smaller pieces that aren't full coverage. And yeah, I've just gotten started with that. Those are quick finishes when you work on them. This next piece is a Stitch Mania 2017 piece, so we're finally in 2017. No. I'm confusing myself. I don't think that I started this year. Maybe I did. Oh no, I did, I think, because I finished Spring Dragon this year before Stitch Mania, and so I think I started this on the day that I would have started Spring Dragon on. Or not. I don't remember. Maybe I must have started this year because I write down my WIPs in chronological order. Anyhow, this is another Ingleside Imaginarium piece. It's called Summer Dragon. I have a series of 4 seasonal dragons. They're all pretty small. And just use DMC, and this is the second, called Summer Dragon. And this is where I'm at on him. This is a piece of, picture this plus Lugana, 28 count, in Dwarf. And I have 2 colors finished on this. I'm doing cross country again. And I have the darkest yellow and the medium yellow, and I've started on the light yellow. And I just absolutely love how this shading is working out. You can see on the wing and on the neck and head. I like it. I'm really pleased with how that one is coming along. This next piece is another Ingleside Imaginarium dragon. This one I feel guilty about because it was supposed to come out this year. And I've been teasing it forever and ever. This is the Water Dragon. I have another series of 4 dragons that I'd like to release, Elemental Dragons. These ones are small-ish. I mean, they're still a big stitch, but you know, they fit on a fat 1/8. and they use DMC. These next ones use hand-dyeds and metallics and beads. I mean, they will eventually, and are going to be huge. I'm thinking of them as like the Mirabilias of dragons. The only one designed, and the only one that I've started stitching so far, is the water dragon. I'm not going to put a picture of what it's supposed to look like when it's done because I haven't charted beads, and like I don't even know how that works. I don't want to show a digital representation of it because it's not how it's going to look like when it's finished. But I can show you my WIP of it. This is another fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics by Leslie. It is 28 count linen in As You Wish. So it's a blue and green fabric, and here is my water dragon so far. He's inspired by betta fish. In fact, a betta fish that I once had was black. He had a black body and then black fins with teal kind of in them. So he's inspired by one of my old betta fish, and I'm working on getting all the cross stitching done. All of his fins here are going to be filled in, and then his tummy's going to have metallic on it, and then I'm going to get all kinds of fun teal and bluish, blue turquoisey beads in. So let me get closer and show you this guy. He's pretty big. You can see here, his fins are all a hand-dyed thread with all blues and tealies, turquoises. Well, there's a dark teal color that acts as kind of the base, and then I'm filling it in with the hand-dyed. That hand-dyed was, that hand-dyed is a Carrie's Creation thread, and since I purchased that and started stitching this, I've heard some not great stories of working with that company / ordering specific threads. Now we have a thunderstorm, by the way, if you can hear that. And if you see these guys getting freaked out, that'll be why. But as I said, I think when I release this, I've come far enough that I don't want to tear all that out and use a different thread. But what I may do is put the Carrie's Creation. If you or your LNS has access to that, great. But I may try looking into some of the easier obtainable threads and put some alternate threads in the pattern, just because I avoid using fabrics from certain dyers because I know that they can be hard to work with, and I don't want to put my customers through the hassle of trying to order things. I have not had a bad experience with either of those companies, but then I haven't tried to custom order things from either of those companies. And obviously I did call out Carrie's Creations. I'm not trying to badmouth them or anything, because again, I can't speak from experience, but just from having read things, I can say that. As far as this other company, same deal. You may be able to tell who that is from your own inference. But anyway, that is the story of Water Dragon. I don't know when it's going to be released, to be quite honest. People ask me every once in a while, and I've given them certain dates. I was really hoping by the end of the year, this last one, but it just didn't happen. So we'll see. It'll be a nice surprise when it does finally come out. How about that? I only have a few more projects left. This next one is not an Ingleside Imaginarium dragon, but it is a dragon, and it is right on the front of this book. It is the Celestial Dragon by Joan Elliott. I am stitching it from this book called Dragons and Unicorns by I Love Cross Stitch. I got this at Joann's, I believe. But it is on a very special piece of fabric that my sister bought for me from Julie at Reflections Framing and Stitching. It is a piece of linen in 32 count colored stardust from Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And this is where I'm at. I haven't gotten very far. I started this around the 4th of July because that's when I visited Julie. I started this at her store, And let me point out where this is. It's right here under the wing and in the rear leg. Like this is the hind leg where it kind of bends in, and that's the bottom of the wing. So really beautiful tealy colors so far. Those are some of my favorites. And just, of course, the fabric is beautiful. It has all kinds of pinks and blues and yellows and teals and greens. It's beautiful. And I think of my sister whenever I use it. This next one is a digital pattern that I'm so embarrassed I haven't finished it yet. This is I forget the designer as well. I should have written this down. I bought this fabric at Julie's when I was there, and I started this piece not long after. It is a piece I started because a friend of mine was diagnosed with cancer, and she's a big Harry Potter fan, and I wanted to stitch this for her. I'm very happy to say that she finished up her treatments and everything is looking great. And she, as far as I know, is feeling pretty good. You know, things are going, you know, they're going really well. And just, she is so amazing that she went through that and she kept up the most positive attitude. It was absolutely wonderful to see, of course, not that she was sick, but to see her get through it and just, it was very inspirational. I feel like such a hack for saying all of that, because I'm fortunate that I've not, of course, had to suffer from cancer, and also nobody very close to me has gone through an aggressive battle with cancer, and so I feel weird saying all that stuff about it because I haven't been through it personally, but I was just so impressed with her, and I had no doubts that that's how she would handle it, but it just is really amazing. Anyway, this was originally stitched because I wanted to give it to her while she was going through chemo and treatments, but it didn't get it done. It's very close, and I still would like to finish it and give it to her, but I think I kind of burnt out on it. This is a piece called Happiness. Again, I'm going to put where the designer, I got it off Etsy. It's stitched on a 32 count linen in Phantom by Picture This Plus. And here is where I'm at so far. Like I said, I'm very close. I have to finish the light coming out of the wand here. And there's a couple of like back-stitched magical starry stuff several places, but this is nearly done. It says, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. And like, if anyone is full of light, my friend is. So I would like to finish that for her still. I need to do that. So anyway, that's another WIP. And almost finished, I would say. This next piece is an Ingleside Imaginarium piece. This was one that I, sometimes I just get inspired and I want to design it and I want to stitch it right away. So I designed it and then I ordered the materials. It came the next week from Winter Through Stitch and I started it right away. This is going to be called, or it is called Deep Below. This is what it will look like when it's finished. And this is what I have so far. This is a 36 count in Ale by Picture This Plus. I'm going to take this needle minder off because it's distorting the fabric. But this piece is going to be fully stitched and hand-dyed. There are a couple of threads, which I'm definitely going to like put an asterisk next to and be like, there's only a few stitches of this color, so please skip out on the hand-dyed if you want to. Because I know that it's annoying when you buy a hand-dyed floss and only stitch like 8 stitches in it. But this is what I have so far. I'm stitching it 1/1. No, 1/2 on 36 count. But that's what I have so far. I'm really pleased with how this is coming. I'm very excited about it. And I would love to do a series of folklore creatures in a habitat like this. That'll be fun to pull out again when I have time. So I have just one more WIP and then a couple of finishes for you guys. This last WIP is a digital pattern that I have created. I'm calling it, I think, just Loretta Lynn. My sister's dog had to be put down back in September. This dog was only 2 years old, was the love of her life, and just a support for her, you know, emotionally, and it was very sad that she only had 2 years with her, and that, you know, she got sick, and, you know, it wasn't a peaceful thing. It was a stressful thing. It was an expensive thing. It was a sad thing. And so she asked me to create a cross-stitch tribute to Loretta. I was already on my way designing it when she texted me, and now that the project that I had a deadline for is finished, this is kind of my next. And now that I've kind of taken the pressure off myself to do the mystery stitch along next year, this is my next priority project. So this is what she will look like. And this is where I'm at so far. This is on a 32 count Lugana in Sprite by Picture This Plus. And that is what I have so far. Just a little ear. And you can't see it, but my plan is to do all of the fluffy bits in Whisper thread. I found black and then 3 colors of gray in Whisper, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be really good. That was Thunder and Lightning, by the way. The lilacs that are in this design down at the bottom, I have to admit, are not my design. I purchased a lilac kit, and I did not bring it with me to the show, but I have it at home in New York, and I can provide proof that I did purchase this kit so that I could use the pattern on it, because I couldn't find a free lilac I liked, and at the time I was feeling too stressed to try and do my own stitch, / it would have been so heavily referenced I didn't feel good about using it. So it is altered from this kit, but it is very heavily referenced from this kit. So I purchased the kit, I got it on eBay from Russia, and I can, when and if I need to, maybe when it's finished and I've actually been stitching this, I can show the kit and give the kit credit. Because I don't have it with me, so I can't remember what it's called. But I found it through looking up lilac cross stitch on Pinterest, I think. Anyway, those are all of my WIPs. I didn't count them, so I can't tell you how many there are. Oops. But it's a lot. It's over 30 at this point. Every year I keep saying that I'm comfortable at a certain amount, and it gets higher and higher. I would love to finish up a lot of these next year, but of course, my goal every year is to finish up pieces, and it doesn't seem to happen. Some of them are. For example, I have a few finishes here from this year to show you. You saw Summer Dragon in my WIPs. This is the finished Spring Dragon. So that is an Ingleside Imaginarium pattern. I finished this project this year. You would have seen it earlier this year when I finished. So that was a 2018 finish. Obviously, I have the finished Guardians of Notre Dame Sal. I'm so pleased with how that came out, and I'm just so pleased with the response it's gotten this year. Everyone who's finished it have said that, you know, they don't normally keep up with Sal's, but this was one that they just had to finish when it came out, and yeah, I'm just very pleased with that. I'm hoping I can frame it in a round frame. Carmen at Broadway Stitcher, she found a really great frame off of eBay. It was a mirror or a clock, I think. It was anyhow, she framed it as a round frame. It was so good. And I actually got to see it in person because she came to see the show I was in. So I finally got to meet Broadway Stitcher, and we're going to meet up again in the spring when I get back to New York. This is another project that I started on a whim. I designed it and wanted to start it right away, and I did finish it. This is my Heather's piece. It says, "What's your damage, Heather?" And it's kind of a Stitch replica of the opening shot. One of the, you know, I should say the title shot of the movie, of Heather Chandler putting her hair up in her scrunchie. Very pleased with that. This is actually up on a new website I made. I believe it is www.inglesidefreebies.weebly.com. Kind of a bloggish style website, and I'm going to put up any freebie designs I have up there, and this one is actually up there. It's a freebie. I didn't feel comfortable since it was so heavily referenced from a movie shot or movie still. I didn't feel comfortable claiming it as my own and selling it. So it is up there for free. If you're a fan of 80s movies, feel free to look that up. And then another piece that was finished this year, a few pieces, all in the same series. I was doing such a good job, and if you've been watching me this year, you'll know I was doing such a good job of keeping up with these. But it is the Little House Needleworks Farmhouse Christmas series, and you have the Little Red Barn. You have, I think this one was called Horsing Around, Grandpa's Pickup, and Dairy Darlin', and I was so close. Or I was doing such a great job keeping up with these, and then I fell off the wagon and stalled at number 5, which I think is Grandma's Quilt. There are a few changes here. I changed the horse to be a chestnut like my sister's horse. I changed this pickup to look like my grandpa's truck that he used before he passed away. Down here, my sister's in-laws have dairy cows, and they are all black and white, so I changed that to look like their house. And then I believe this house was originally, there's a color, I forget if it's Pebble Beach or something like that, but there's a color that does not show up well on my fabric, and this house was originally charted in that, and I changed it to white just so it would show up better. But yeah, I love these, and hopefully I'll get started with them again this year. We'll see. And then finally, I have one more finish to tell you about, and that is the project I was working so hard to get finished. It was a wedding gift for one of my best friends from college. She was married just in December, and I wasn't able to go because I had my show in New York City. And travel-wise, I just didn't want to risk not being able to come back with the winter weather. And she, so her fiance redid this gorgeous kind of craftsman style house in their town, and that was where they were going to live as a couple, their first house together. And his grandparents had a cross-stitched version of their house up on the wall, and my friend thought that was pretty special, and so she requested that I make a cross-stitch version of their first house together. And I'm calling it the Christmas Eve house, and this is how it ended up. I wanted to do a lot more with it. There could have been a lot more backstitch on it, but I really was running against the clock on it to get it to them for Christmas. I missed the wedding, so I wanted to get it to them for Christmas. But overall I'm pleased with how it turned out. And to my knowledge, it got there, but I haven't heard how she liked it, so hopefully they both liked it. But yes, that piece sucked up any and all stitching time I had. You know, I finished the last gargoyle on Guardians, and then all of my stitching time was devoted to that project. So that's why there hasn't been a lot of progress on a lot of other things. For example, if you on Instagram, if you follow me, like there hasn't been a lot of stuff on there. But anyhow, that was about my year in review in cross stitch. Those are all my projects that I'm bringing with me into the new year. There's a lot of fun potential for some good stitching. I'll be doing a show again for the first 2 months of the year once rehearsals end. We open the 18th of January, so 18th of January through the end of February I'm going to have a lot of stitching time. So I'm looking forward to that and hopefully getting some good progress done on some of these projects. I might go through and find ones that are fairly close to finishing and see if I can't pick some you know, priority projects to focus on the finish. That's what people call it. Might find some focus on the finished projects. But, yeah. I think that's everything that I have to share. I can't think of anything else, at least. So from mine to yours, I hope that everyone had a wonderful holiday season, and as we go into the new year, that you just have a great 2019. I hope it's full of love and family and good friends and success and wonderful, wonderful stitchy goodness for all of you. So, yeah. Thank you for all the support this year. I know that I've not been very active on my social media. I've tried at least to get my stitch along out on time, which I was able to do, but I just want to thank you for all of you who are standing by through all of the busy stuff that I've had to deal with this fall. And thank you for your continued support into this next year. And, you know, thank you to all my subscribers and commenters and just, yeah, all my stitchy friends. You mean a lot to me. I'm happy to have you in my life. So, yes, with that, I'm going to sign off and say, Happy New Year! Bye! You guys, I can't believe I almost forgot. I brought this all the way to Nashville to show you on a video. My Birthstone Dragons from 2017, that was my mystery sal, is finished. Thank you to Julie at Reflections Framing and Stitching. My sister lives near Omaha, where her shop is located, and so every time I visit my sister, I'm able to drop in on Julie, and I left this for her to frame, and I'm just so, so pleased. Look at how straight that is, and just ironed perfectly, not a wrinkle in sight. Like, I'm so, so pleased, and I'm hoping that she has the ability to do something round, because I want to drop my Guardians of Notre Dame piece off with her as well. But just, yay! I got to go there in person and pick out the frame, and we chatted a long time about what what would be good. There were a couple of different options I really liked, and we ended up picking this one because it kind of has that Celtic knot to it, but it also looks a lot like dragons, you know, like the long Celtic-y or Asian dragons that kind of loop up on top of each other. So, and we went with kind of a goldy, coppery color to go with the gold on the border, and just, yeah, I'm so pleased. And I wanted to show it to you guys on video instead of just a picture, because, you know, it's nice to be able to move it and get it closer and all that kind of stuff. Yes, Julie, I'm really, really excited, and I'm so pleased. And if you live near her, you need to go to her for your framing needs, because every piece I've seen that she's done is quality work. But yes, I will definitely be back to get some more stuff framed by her. And thank you, Julie. I'll be back, I promise. And yeah, I can't wait to hang this up on the wall when I get back to New York. I knew I was going to be leaving, so I kind of didn't want to leave it there because I wanted to be able to see it and appreciate it. But yay, I'm so, so happy. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye for real. Happy New Year, everyone. Bye.